Good morning, everyone. Wendy Forsythe here. We're just letting everyone in out of the waiting room, so we'll get started shortly. Thank you all for being right on time and ready to go today. Hi, Roger. Nice seeing the bridge behind you there.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Barb in Spokane, Washington. Margie, are you walking? We saw you.
Yes, I am. I know. I'm a little
I
embarrassed how I look, but I am on my treadmill.
No, don't be embarrassed. I love it. Kudos to you. I actually bought an attachment for my treadmill recently that will allow you to put your computer up on it.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I'm totally on the getting steps in while we're working treadmill, literally. All right, everyone. I have us at the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to officially kick us off. My name is Wendy Forsythe. I'm the president here at Chirag Shah Coaching. For those of you that I might be seeing for the first time joining us here in our live coaching session, great to meet you and welcome. And for those of you that I'm getting to know, thank you for coming back to our session today. We are talking about the core four today. So the core four are essentially the strategy that every real estate professional has four main areas in their business that they drive revenue from. So think of them as I like to use the analogy of a grocery store and really the evolution of kind of a grocery store. So if you think back 30 years ago, and for some of you, you maybe weren't at grocery stores 30 years ago. But if you think back, grocery stores had sort of typical departments. And I use this reference because my very first job was as a cashier at a grocery store. So you had sort of your fruit and vegetables, you had your meat, you had your canned goods, and those were sort of the things you went to the grocery store for. Those would be like the core four of the grocery store business, the key areas that drive revenue. As grocery stores evolved and business evolved, all of a sudden you saw new departments or new areas come into grocery stores. So if you think of today, like you're going to have a flower department, you might have a pharmacy, you might have a sort of a general merchandise area. You've got all these other revenue lines or departments. And think of that in parallel to the evolution of your real estate business. Is as your business evolves, you're going to continue to add revenue lines or sources of business into your prospecting, into your mix of business. And then you're going to look at those essential core four of aligning all your activities with where the majority of the business comes from. So that as you're looking to scale your business from one level to the next of production, you've got a strategy option to consider. Will I continue to get more business from my core four, or do I need to add in and replace maybe an area of business with a new one, or add a totally different strategy for that? So that's what we're going to unravel today in our coaching session is like, what are your core four and what are the strategies to evolve and develop your core four? So let me kick off by asking all of you, those of you that are on video, give me a hand raise. Those of you that are not on video, if you can just pop in the chat. Hi, Wendy. Do you currently know the four key areas in your business that you use to find buyers and sellers? So give me a hand raise if you're a yes, I know my core four. I'm not seeing hands. All right. Give me a hand raise. Kelly, you can't raise your hand because you're driving. Give me a hand raise if you know your core two. Do you know two main areas that you find buyers or sellers from your business? Two. I got some twos. All right. Those of you that gave me some twos, hop off of mute and share with the group what are two main areas that you use to find buyers and sellers in your business. Carrie, how about you? I saw your hand first on my screen. What are core two for you?
You mean me, Carrie?
You, Carrie.
Yeah, most of it's referrals and repeat business.
Yeah.
Otherwise, open houses,
Yeah.
and direct mail and or handwritten notes. It's sort of a combination.
Got it. So referrals, repeat business, open houses, and direct mail.
Yeah, or personal notes. Probably
Per-
personal notes is they serve different purposes.
Yeah, yeah. But
But one is more brand awareness and one is more relationship connectedness.
got it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Carrie, that's great. So Carrie, how long have you been in the business?
31 years.
31 years. Awesome. That's amazing. Love that. And would you say your repeat and referral are the top two of those core four that you just mentioned? Like, do the majority of your business come from repeat and referral?
Yeah, or just sphere of influence, people I've known. I'm working with a guy now, or for 5 years, he's been talking about selling his house, but he was
Yeah.
going to sell with the broker who sold to him and was going to buy and downsize with me. And now he's probably going to go out of the area, and the other person's kind of phasing out of the business. And so I'm probably going to get his $2 million house, which I'm thrilled at. But we've been working on this for 5 years. But he's an old friend, and so that's not quite repeat business. It's not quite a referral, but it's sphere of influence.
Sphere of influence. Yeah, it definitely falls into that. Okay, great. So we've got your core four. So put a pin in that and hold that. So as we go through the course of our coaching session today, we're going to come back and then talk about like how we align all of your activities to those core four. So thanks, Carrie. Appreciate you jumping on. Roger, I saw your hand up on either core two or core four. Like what are your core business drivers?
So open houses, I would say, is number one. Paid leads, qualified leads from the team, would be number two. And then I'm starting a farm, so that would be number three. I guess my sphere is kind of small right now. I just started about a year ago in the sales side. I've had my license since 2007, but I was in the back end of the shop. So
Yeah, that's a great contrast to Carrie, who's been in the business 31 years, to the sort of a newer agent or building your business like in a different way. And that's one of the things we see with core four is it will change. Like we don't all have the same four business drivers. It will be different depending on our length of time in the business, bit on our own personal strengths. Roger, you mentioned online leads or paid leads.
mhm.
A lot of agents will be like, that's not for me. And that's okay, right? Like you're diving into your own personal strengths. And that's part of, really what we do as part of coaching is pull back and take this time to work on your business and not in your business, right? So to put on that strategic hat and think about, okay, do I know where my business is coming from? And am I aligning my activities to that? So open houses, great, paid leads, farm area, sphere of influence. Roger, is the farm area a geographical farm area that
Yeah.
you're looking to
It's
develop?
going to be in my neighborhood. My family home I've been in the community for a long time. I mean, decades. So, yeah, I feel that this is a good base that I can drive. I mean, the average home in my neighborhood is about 2 to 2.5 million. So, it's a good start, at least before I branch out.
Yeah. Okay. So one of our takeaways for today's session is that you all know your core four, or identify your core four in your business. So I'm going to pop up a screen share and share a PowerPoint with you. So when we're talking about the core four, we heard both Carrie and Roger share some of their core four. So what I've thrown up here on this screen are just some of the like most common areas of business that we know that agents pull business from or their core for. So you see open houses, client appreciation events, emails, networking events, friends, family, door knocking, geographical farm, repeat clients. Like there's lists of different ways. My challenge to all of you is go back over the last year. If you don't know, like off the top of your head, the four core areas that you are sourcing buyers or sellers from, that's your action item coming into today's coaching session, is to figure that out. Go back through your transactions over the last year, look at the client's name, whether they're buyer or seller, and identify like, where did I meet those people from? Were they a referral? Did I meet them at an open house? Was it an online lead that I converted? Was it an expired lead? Was it a lead from my website? Was it from my geographical farm? Was it a call from a for sale sign? Like the list goes on, right? So take a look back so that you can identify those core four areas and then start tracking on all of the people you currently meet in your CRM, exactly where you're sourcing them. If you are newer or if you feel there's not enough volume of business to really say like, I don't know what my core four are, right? I had 8 transactions and I think they came from 8 different places over the last year. Then we get into sort of strategically aligning what are your strengths and where do you want to grow your business. So Roger was a great example. He strategically looked at his business and he says, like, I am active in the community. This is my community. It makes sense to start a geographical farm as one of my core four in my area. So you can make those sorts of strategic decisions in going forward on identifying and working your core four. I'm going to go through some strategies of sort of setting up your core four and how to do that. But let me pause for a second and just ask any questions from you guys on the concept of your core four in your business and how to set up and how to think about it strategically. Either hop off mute or give me a hand raise. I can see most of you, or type it in the chat and I'll watch the chat.
Wendy, Martin McShane, sorry. I just think if you look at all of these, it really does relate back to our CRM. And I have worked the CRM harder this year than ever, and it does pay off.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. You're going to see like the next slides. That's exactly what we get into. Like there's so much power in your CRM for everything you do in your business. It's why you hear us talk about it, like, on every coaching call. There's probably not a coaching call that goes by that we don't say something about your CRM, because it is that powerful. Any other questions or thoughts on your core four? All right, let's talk about some strategy then. So I think I've convinced you about the benefits, but just to highlight on that, when you identify like where your GCI is coming from in your core four, then you can also get very strategic on where to spend your time and where to spend your money. So oftentimes when I look at, like when I'm having a discussion like this one-on-one with an agent, we'll look at their marketing spend. And we'll discuss, like, does your marketing spend align with where your business is coming from? So online leads is a great example of this. If you're spending money on online leads and not converting into transactions, then we have an opportunity to look at a couple things. Are you spending your money in the right place, right? Do you have the right systems in place to convert those leads? Or would that money be better spent in other areas of your business where you would have a higher conversion rate and a higher ROI? But it's not just money, it's time. So are you spending your time in the right areas of your business? So aligning your daily actions. So, your sphere of influence, for most of you, your repeat business, referral business, sphere of influence, there's some combination of that is where the core of your business comes from. So you need to make sure your calendar and your daily actions are aligning with, am I spending time connecting and engaging, providing value to the people in my CRM, in my sphere of influence? So let's talk a little bit about some of those strategies for working in your core four. And, straight up, first thing I have here, of course, is the CRM. So there's some techniques in your CRM that will make working your core four easier for you. One of which is utilizing tags. So many of you have heard us talk about tags. Utilizing tags will help you be able to pull from your CRM and then connect and engage faster and easier with your core four. So you want to think about the tags that you're using, and general rule of thumb is you want to have somewhere between like 10 to 20 different tags. 20 is on the high side, really. But you don't want to have any more than that. Otherwise, they become useless, right? Because there's so many tags, you can't even remember, like, what am I pulling tags from? Then you want to keep ongoing notes in your CRM on conversations and engagement with your clients. And the little screenshot that I have here on the screen is directly from your Compass CRM. And you'll see kind of that workflow is naturally built into the CRM for you. You've got an overview of the client, of the contact. You've got activity. And activity is where you put, I made a phone call, I sent an email, I had an in-person meeting. So like whatever the activity is. Then the next one, if you're working from left to right, is notes. The notes is where you write the things you want to remember about that client, right? Carrie's client that she's working on for 2 years, like there's probably a whole bunch of notes there, right? Of the different times you've had engagement and interaction. Very important to utilize that. I mean, we all like to think we have pretty good memories about our clients, but as you're building your business, it's impossible to remember like everything. So you want to make sure you have those notes there so that you can personalize your interactions and engagements with clients. And then the last there, you've got tools and details. So tools is where you want to like add on to like your tasks and your follow-up. So get into like, I'm going to call them in a month. I'm going to email them in a month. I'm going to drop by. I'm going to, whatever that is, use that to spring forward kind of your next engagement with those clients so that you're really utilizing the power of your CRM. The better you have that set up, the easier the next strategy we're going to talk about becomes, and that is prospecting. So really prospecting in your CRM to identify the most important conversations that you need to have. So regardless of what your core four are, let's use the online leads as an example, or open houses was another example. Those two might be part of your core four. You're going to flow those contacts into your CRM. So after I meet somebody at an open house, I'm going to put them into my CRM. I'm going to tag the follow-up I'm going to add a tag to them. I'm going to add the activity of the follow-up to them on what I'm going to do next. And then I'm going to use my tools to prioritize kind of like adding them to a drip email campaign or when I'm going to contact them next. So all sources of buyers or sellers go directly into your CRM so you can continue to prospect to those people along the way. And I wanted to give you 2 scripts that Chirag has been using with clients for the last couple of years that have been like just magic in converting. Because one of the things we often hear from all of you is, okay, like, yeah, I know I should be reaching out. I know I should be talking to them, but what do I say? Right? I either haven't talked to people for a while or, I'm just not sure how to approach it. So here is what we call a social media script. So it's very easy. This is something that you would use with somebody that you're connected with, obviously, on social media. So I would think of this as like sort of that like A plus sort of client that or contact that you have in your CRM. So somebody that like is pretty highly likely to do business with you soon, that has done business with you already, so would be considered a repeat client or an active client that like you're pretty actively working with. So the script, you guys have already read it, pretty simple. I was thinking about you recently and wanted to see how the start of the year has been going for you and your family. I recently saw on Facebook that you got a new dog and wanted to reach out. I know you are busy, no need to respond, was just thinking about you and wanted to send a note, talk to you soon. Now there's a few key nuggets here that are super important to pull out from this script that really help. One of the things in testing this script that we found is that if you text it, that is super powerful. Because the texting is just like, it does make it feel like, hey, I'm standing at the grocery store, was scrolling through social media, right? Which we all do, saw on Facebook, you got a new dog, right? Like it really does like personalize it that way. So texting has been super powerful with this script. It can also be emailed, but just sharing some feedback from kind of real life on that. And then the language. You know, when we get into these various scripts and approaches, like words really do matter. And there's some powerful language here. I know you are busy. No need to respond. Adding those two simple sentences is almost like it is such an invitation for people to respond. They respond. As soon as you let them off of the hook to say, no need to respond, I know you're busy, they become compelled to respond. So it really does increase the engagement, which is really what you want, is that conversation and that response rate. I was just thinking about you and wanted to send you a note, talk to you soon. What do you guys think of that script? All right, I'm seeing like heads nodding.
Great script.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, give that a try and report back to us on how it goes. And this is going to be posted in our CSC community for you as part of this, so you can you'll go in there and be able to have the slides to pull the script from. And I would just put it as a template in your inbox, in your text, in your CRM, so that you can use it. Here's another one that is kind of like the second version of this, and it's more general. So this is more general outreach for like those kind of B and C clients, we call them, in your CRM, of people that you know, like sort of aren't that like, I saw something on social media, you may not be connected with them there. This would be ideal for, you know, an online lead that you've had some conversations with, but they're not ready to buy till later in the year. That person you met at an open house that says, well, we want to buy, but we're waiting for interest rates to go down. We're just watching the market. So sort of more those people that like you're keeping as a warm lead. So it's a general outreach. So I was thinking about you recently, wanted to see how the start of the year has been going for you and your family. If there's anything I can support you with this year, if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. No need to respond. I was just thinking about you and wanted to send a note. Talk to you soon. The great thing about this script is with your Compass CRM, you can bulk email this out to all the people that you've identified through your tags should receive this message from you. So it's a 5-minute activity to reach out and say, hi, was thinking about you. How's your year going so far? If you got any questions, anything I can help with, drop me a note. No need to respond. I know you're busy. Like you'll find, like you'll notice, like I mixed up sort of the sentences there. And that's the great thing about scripts or dialogues. They are really just bent, like they're guide rails to use in your conversations, in your interactions with people. You'll find your own words, you'll find your own cadence with that. But this is a great outreach script to use. And if you use, when you have your tagging set up, use a bulk email, great outreach to send to your clients. All right. I talked at the top about the time blocking. So make sure that you're time blocking all of this into your scheduling so that you are making contact with that core four and really, using your time wisely and in the right way to align with the goals of your business. And then make sure that your financial planning is lining up with all of this. So I touched on this briefly, but you want to make sure you're aligning your marketing budget with your core four. So you're spending money to support where business is coming from and where you're meeting buyers and sellers. And you want to track that. You want to be able to track, I know where I spent my money and I know what the ROI or the return on investment in my marketing dollars is. In our upcoming weeks, live coaching sessions, we're going to dig into financial planning and budgeting. And I'm going to be sharing sort of best practices and benchmarks around the amount of money we see agents spending in different parts of their business. And marketing is one of the biggest opportunities, biggest challenges, and biggest expenditures that a lot of agents have that they can't track around, is this providing an ROI in my business? A great way to get started on this is to look at your last month's expenses in your business. I would say, go back 3 months. But at the beginning of every month, you should look at the previous month. Look at your expenses, look at your transactions. Where did business come from? Are my expenses aligned with that? And then, of course, you want to take a longer look back and do those quarterly business reviews in your business along the way. So we'll be talking more about that. So action items to leave you with from today's coaching session. Review your 2023 transactions, identify your core four. When you're asked, what are the main areas that I find buyers and sellers that turn into transactions in my business, you need to know. It's open houses, it's online leads, it's my sphere of influence, it's my geographical farm, it is my website, it is Compass agent to agent referrals, it's another referral network that I belong to. Like, you need to know for you and your business what that is so that you can be strategic in aligning your activities and your marketing spend around that. Make sure your CRM tags align with your core four and align with how you can reach out and grow your business. Make sure you're prospecting and reaching out and staying in touch with those people. Use the scripts that we provided today. Time block that activity, review your expenses, make adjustments. There is probably money that you're spending right now in your business that is not aligning with helping your business grow. So be very, very critical of those marketing spends, and then rinse and repeat all of those things. These are just activities you do over and over in your business as you're taking that time to move from being in the day-to-day of the business to being the strategic CEO of your business and driving your revenue and your production forward. I hope that helps. I got a question here in the chat just as we're finishing up. And if anyone else has any questions, raise a hand or drop in the chat or come off of mute. Happy to answer them. But Kelly, how often would you suggest reaching out to B and C clients? I suggest at least quarterly that you should reach out to them. And that should be like a mix. So if you do something like a monthly newsletter, then of course they're getting that monthly. I don't count that though as my quarterly outreach. Like, I want to have at least quarterly some sort of an interaction with them that is a two-way interaction, not just me sending an email or a newsletter or a market update. So that's how I qualify those things personally, is like an interaction is an engagement back and forth.
I have a question. For tags, I know you said 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Besides you tag them as what your four core are, and what other suggestions of tags would you do just so I get a sense. I've heard of others like with other coaches, but just so I can get a sense for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jessica. Jessica, where are you? What market are you in?
Manhattan. in Queens.
Manhattan. Awesome. So, buyers, sellers, right? Like those tend to go like in groups and tags, where you met them from. So if it's like an open house, so align that with your core four. I find those are great tags to have as well. If they're buyers, if they're looking in a certain neighborhood, that can be helpful to tag. And then on like sellers, timing can be helpful to tag there as well. So tagging is a little bit personal because it's a bit about sort of how you work in your business. But those are some of the tags that I see people use.
Thank you. So you're saying one of the tags should be like the four cores that you do, like agent
Yeah.
to agent referral.
Yeah, like open house, online lead.
That would because I have a couple that are open house or online. I have a lot that are online, but that would then go in towards how I met them. So it kind of
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Marcia, I see a hand.
Yeah, I have 3 comments.
Yeah.
One is I always tag the year I met the person.
Oh, great suggestion.
And I find that really, really helpful. Also in my CRM, where we have the opportunity to put a profile picture, I've actually created a series of CRM icons. So I can just look and I can see who's an open house and who's a Compass agent.
Oh, from the icon. Oh, I love that. That is
And
right there.
And they change from time to time. The open house person might become a client, but if I just met them in open house and no more, the icons do a lot. They've worked really well for me because it's visual and it's fast. The other thing is I'd like to share with everybody, if you're operating on the Mac environment, for the text messages that you were suggesting, you can actually create a text replacement. So you can type it out and then just do / whatever, just make it where it's something that's not a common thing. And then it can come up and then you can go in and edit it, but it can make it where it's very easy and very fast in a text message.
Great tips, Marcia. Thank you for sharing those. Okay, I know that we are a little bit over. We got one, I got a question that came DM'd on social media presence and like the importance of having social media presence. Chirag is doing a session later today at, I don't know what time it is. I think it's 11:30 Eastern time. No, what time is it? Emily, do you know, or Andrew? Oh, you're on mute. It's on social media. So later today, it's on your calendar. We have a whole session on social media.
1:30.
At 1:30 Eastern time. If any of you are able to attend that, you'll want to see if you can tune in. And also in the CSC community, if you search social media, you'll find lots of resources on past coaching sessions that we've done on social media as well. So thank you all for attending. I hope you have a great week. Reach out if there's anything that we can help with, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.